Whether you are upgrading to coilovers or you're simply wanting to throw in a fresh set of leaf springs on your C5 Corvette, you're going to want to get the old ones out of there. This is just a quick video showing you what it takes to accomplish that task. It's not a bad idea to use a floor jack to press up on that lower control arm to take a little bit of tension off the components. You're going to want to disconnect the sway bar end link here. You can disconnect the upper control arm and remove the nut off the top of the strut, and that will allow you to drop the whole assembly down, taking pressure off the leaf spring. So you got to prevent the threaded part from rotating when you try to unscrew the nut. So I just have a vice grip up there. You could probably access it from above with a socket or something, but a vice grip underneath here is working just fine. Now I assume you're upgrading to coilovers, but if you're not, you can leave that strut connected to the lower control arm and it'll still allow you to drop this whole assembly. We're just repeating the process on the other side to relieve pressure off the leaf spring so we can get it fully out. Already got the upper control arm disconnected. I'm just taking the strut off again, just from the top at this point. If you're wanting a little extra movement, you can disconnect the tie rod ends as well. There are two small brackets on the underside of the car holding the leaf spring to the subframe, 2 bolts each. They come out pretty easy. I think it might just be froze here a little bit in this mount, so I'm just going to try to pry it out. This takes a little wiggling and wobbling. There's 22-year-old Corvette suspension. Now we're moving to the rear of the car, which is a similar process, but actually quite a bit easier because these leaf springs are mounted to the underside of the lower control arm, so you can technically just disconnect them without having to drop that entire assembly. Now, if you are upgrading to coilovers, check out my coilover installation video for the entire process. Leaf spring nuts is a 21 on top, 18 on the underside. Once disconnected from the lower control arms on each end of the leaf spring, there are again 2 brackets on the underside of the car, same as on the front. Just pop the 2 bolts out holding each bracket on. Your leaf spring is free. These leaf springs are like a fiberglass material, so although they are very strong, they are super light. So you don't have to worry about them falling on your face and crushing you under the car or anything like that. That was just a quick guide on how to get those old leaf springs out of your C5 Corvette. And again, if you are upgrading the coilovers, check out my coilover installation video. It is very thorough, and I try to make it as easy as possible to follow. And of course, it goes into much greater detail that you might be interested in. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I get to every single one of them as quickly as I possibly can. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I appreciate the continued support up to this point. There's a lot more coming for the channel, so I hope you stick around. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.